What's going on, guys? We're back in the bubble. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go back into quarters and palms again. This is for the guys that have given me some feedback, some ideas. So we're gonna kind of talk about it, and what we're gonna do is try to see if we can really figure this thing out. Just on a live stream, give you guys a chance to jump up in here and give some comments or whatever. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play quarters and I'm gonna play um, palms. I'm gonna use both of these um, coverages together because I feel like that's honestly the best way to do it. So let me just make sure this broadcast is going, and as soon as I can get it up and live, we will rock with it. Sometimes this thing doesn't always show up, so we gotta test it out real quick. Give me 1 second here. All right, looks like it's good there. Let me know if the audio is too low or you can't hear me. Just let me know. If you, I guess if you're hearing this, you're not going to be able to hear the whole thing. So I'll say that again when I get everybody on here. Let's go with. All right. We'll save that. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, make this public so everybody can jump on in when they can. And a couple of the links that I'm going to work on, I'm going to send it to a couple of the people in Discord, a couple of places that I'm in. All right. Let me put that there, and let me put this over here. So, guys who are joining in, what we're going to do is we're going to work on quarters and palms again. I'm going to try to play like maybe 2 or 3 games real quick. I'm going to try to go a little faster. I'm not going to focus on the whole defense unless I see some sort of bust. And we're going to really also make sure the defensive players are good. I think that'll be good. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything like that, just let me know. And we'll go from there. All right. I'm just putting this in a couple discords that I told you guys about in the leagues that I'm in. Also, there's one really good discord that is filled with a bunch of guys who uh, understand football, study football, former coaches, whole bunch of guys. They're really good at kind of giving all types of feedback, and they have their own channels as well. So this is a collective effort here, man. This is everybody working together to try to get this thing figured out. Since the game won't tell us how stuff is played, we have to do it this way. You know what I mean? So, give me 1 second here, guys. I'm just get my feed up so I can see comments. All right. Hopefully that works well. All right. So yeah, somebody said, Angel, what's up, man? What's going on? EA put palms and cover 9 back into some of the nickel formations. Big win. Okay, really good. So it doesn't have to be dime. That's really good. So we'll try to find that if we can. I heard nickel. Yeah, I didn't even realize when I did it this morning that nickel normal um, has palms, which wasn't the case last year. So big win. You don't have to always use big nickel over G, so that's good. All right, let me just. I'm right now. I think I'm in week 2 of this little. Doesn't matter what week I'm in. I'm trying to find a matchup that I like. So the plan of action is we're gonna go against the computer again. All Madden, 10-minute quarters, defense. We're gonna look at quarters again. We're gonna look at palms again. And I'm gonna say this: the one thing I've noticed is that the computer will always run plays that work against the coverages, especially when you're playing on all Madden. So some people might be a little down on these coverages. If you play with a good group of DBs who are smart, have player recognition, have awareness, and you go against probably a random person or you play in a league where somebody has a scheme, you're not going to get probably bust. You're not going to get guys wide open like we've seen in the past day, really. So I'm not really overly concerned with some of that, but it's good to know what are the problems that we're getting. So we're kind of problem solving together, but let's not get totally discouraged that quarters can't play against compression sets. I'm not 100% on that. I can't be. The game has been out for only 24 hours. All right. So, but what I will do is I will jump into a good defense. Let's see who the Eagles play. Eagles versus the Vikings. Let's rock that game out. Let's get into the Eagles defense and let's see what they got going on. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. Hey, bro, could you comment on the early video about the couple hours? I put cover six. Cover six seems legit. Good. All right. Now I run my cover six a little different than how the game sets it up. I pretty much put the backside cover two into a spot drop. Oh, I try to play it like Tampa two on the backside. I want if I can try to get that corner this year again to get hands on number one week. That's how I want him to play it. I want him to play it high to low, and then I really want to use that corner as a guy that can take away some of those shallow routes that are coming from the strong side of the formation. So hopefully it plays well this year. But I do know there's some issues with covering tight ends up the seams in 2x2. And then there's some other issues, obviously, like, we won't go into that right now. But cover six plays well. That's good. And it kind of makes sense because cover six has become one of the more popular coverages in the NFL. So that's a good tip right there. I'm trying to multitask. If I don't see any comments, just bear with me. I'll try to get back to the comments. I always try to answer them. I'm not 100% a pro at this type of stuff right now. I'm still working on it. Really never did live streams like this before and answer questions. So, all right, let's go with, what did I say? We're working with the Eagles, right? Did I say the Eagles? All right. All right, Eagles.
Continue ahead to begin your franchise.
All right. Again, if you want to just see the settings. So we're playing on all Madden. And I think people have told me that all Madden doesn't have right now it doesn't have the previous play. It doesn't show up, which is a little bit annoying. I wish I can know exactly what the previous play is. That would be really nice to help me learn what routes are beating these coverages. So let's just get into this action right here. I just gotta look at the depth chart real quick. All right. So we got Slay. We know he's nice. I don't even have to look at him. Bradbury. I didn't know that Bradbury was now a star. It took away his superstar, I guess. But he should have good play rec and he has good awareness. So he's straight. All right. He doesn't have good speed, but that's going to be interesting to see on the left side of the screen if he can hold up on some vertical routes. He's probably going to go up against Justin Jefferson as well. Then we have Maddox. It's a third corner. It's a vet, small little kind of nickel guy. Doesn't have great play rec. He's 77, 77. So he's kind of he's below average. To me, I think in the 80s is average for this style of defense. So he's below average, but he has good speed. But I want to see him play in the slot. All right. Let me just take a look at how nasty Slay is. I know Slay is pretty nasty. I know I'm doing this the long and slow way. Give me a second here just to go through these guys. I know Slay is good. How good is he? I'm not even looking at abilities. I don't even care about that right now. I know he has acrobat or something. But yeah, 95 play rec, 98 awareness. I mean, he should rock out, right? He should be fine. And then our two safeties. Ooh, not what I like here. This is going to be interesting. I know Terrell Emmons has good speed and hit power, but I don't think his awareness is going to be that good. He has 79 awareness and 75 play rec. So he's a speed demon, but he's not a speed demon, but he's a fast safety, but doesn't have really good play rec. And then we got Blankenship over here. All right. Wow. Yeah. Another guy who has good acceleration, not great speed, average awareness or below average awareness and play rec. So that'd be interesting. All right. So let me just jump into the depth chart real quick. Let me just get the guys, make sure the guys are aligned in the right spot when it comes to the sub positions. All right, so we got Miles Jack here. I'm assuming that this would be the next best guy, unless I'm not trying to use safeties at linebacker. I'm going to just try to keep it linebackers out there. All right, so Miles Jack awareness is only the 76. Wow, this guy right here, moral 78, 80 play rec. This guy is smarter than Jack. He's a little bit older, I guess, or the same age, but whatever. Be interesting to see how this guy Nicholas Morrow plays. And then we want Maddox good. He's going to be at the nickel, and I'm just going to put the next best corner in here, the fourth best corner at the other spot. All right, so let me make sure the corners are set, and we can just go and play some ball here right now. All right, so we're good. All right. So again, the computer is going to give us a lot of plays that should beat the coverage that I'm in. I'm pretty sure the computer doesn't even like they can basically audible plays and get into formations that nobody else can. So when you go against automatic computer, they cheat, and that's what I want. I want them to cheat because if I can beat a cheating computer, then I know I can probably beat a normal person playing. Okay, so right now we're just going to stay in Sirianni's defense. I've been working on some custom stuff here. Like I've been working on a compressed offense to try to get some answers to some of this stuff. Let me just make sure that the offense, it doesn't really matter about the score, but let me just get this straight. All right. So I'm going to try to focus on plays that really stand out. If it's something like a run, we're going to kind of skip it. We're going to skip it. We're talking more about coverage. And then if I get something that like looks like a bust, we're definitely going to stop. All right. So I'm going to mix in how I would play quarters and how I would play palms to certain formation looks. Most of the time, 2x2, I'll play some more quarters unless I feel like I can play palms to it. I'll mix those two up, and then I will play some more palms to 3x1 formations. So that's kind of the plan of action right now. It's a little bit of a strategy mixing the two together. I'd even look at what style defense they are front-wise. I'm pretty sure they're 4-3, but I know they have the hybrid edge player at outside linebacker. So let me see what they have here. Yeah, Reddick is not here, is he? Yeah, they use Reddick there, so it'd be best to come out in some type of underfront. I'm gonna have to mess around with that. All right, but we're gonna be mostly in nickel and dime, so we'll be fine. 5 hours left in your trial. You gotta save it till tomorrow. Yeah, you gotta be really efficient with the trial stuff. All right, let's go. Make sure our match is on. Let's just go nickel. Let's try to go. This is versus Bunch X Nasty. It doesn't really matter if I call palms or quarters because they're both going to play box over here. This corner's been playing Meg. I think we're going to get that same look. I'm going to play with the D line just to get out of the way. The coverage is there. I'm telling you right now, if that's box, the coverage is there. It's just that the safety got beat. So I mean, that's just a talent thing that has really nothing to do with the actual coverage. All right, so we get a two-man route. We get max protection here. We don't really get the. Remember, I said over here on the backside with X Nasty, we got to figure out what's going on. Certain routes, it looks like I thought they were pretty much megging up this guy, solo meg on the backside, but I don't know for sure. I know if you press him, you'll probably get that. So I'm going to start pressing that guy a little bit. But we just get basically a post, kind of deep-ass post going across the safety's face. There's really nothing else to talk about here. With only one going vertical right now, you wonder again, what is the corner playing? So we'll talk about that as we go through. How come he's not really sitting with him and running with him as well from the initial part, and then maybe passing him off? But we'll let that one go. Two-man route, coverage was good. We should be fine. This is 2x2. I'm going to come out in palms again. Don't worry about the squeezing of the line. I'm just trying to work on this. Let's see if we get any type of out route of two. Just a individual route on the outside. Corners there. I probably could have clicked on and picked that off. So that's palms, but it converts into quarters. As soon as two doesn't go out, it just basically you got two verticals here. You got a crossing route with two. So safety would take that. And then over here, we have just a deep comeback. So that's fine. Footwork for the corners. Kind of shuffles out with them. Stays on top, which is what we want right now compared to last year. This formation over here is a tight formation. So what I'm going to talk about right now, I'm not 100% on, but I know there was a lot of talk about why is the corner doing this, why is the corner doing that. I have a small theory that in quarters coverage, right? Even though we're in palms, again, if you get compression sets, it converts to quarters rules. Okay. Anytime you get what I would call a stack, so these two players are close. If one goes vertical, all right. So one runs any type of route like this, he just goes straight down the field, and two runs an out. I really feel like the way the programming is right now is usually, in this case, you have a quarter flat, right? You would have a corner playing outside leverage looking for the corner route, and then the safety would play inside leverage looking for a post route or a dig, right? So you kind of get a double team right there. That's kind of what the thought process of older Maddens, and that's kind of how it played out versus this type of stack. But if you remember last year, I won't go into that. If two goes out to the flat, if one goes vertical and two goes out to the flat, it could be a quick flat, it could be a 5 yard out, all right? So something 5 yards or less. It looks like the corner is going to jump number two, and the safety is going to play number one. And it's almost like they're playing in a man principle within this match zone, which is called tango, which is just an in and out between a corner and a safety. If you had a DB and a linebacker or two linebackers working together, sometimes they use different words like combo. Okay, so basically, if two works out and one goes vertical, it looks like they're getting into a man principle where the corner is jumping number two. Now, am I 100% on it? If that's how it's programmed, I don't know. The one thing I will give some more tips on this later. If this is how it plays out, this kind of opens up a nice little window for me to kind of start working on some other coverages if I use the right guy that can actually be pretty devastating to an offense. I don't want to get too amped up on it right now, but there's some stuff that you can do. If they do combo this type of route combination with this route distribution, one goes vertical, two goes out, and they tangle this with the two DBs, that opens up a nice little world for maybe doing some other things later on. All right, so that's what I saw there, and that's like yesterday. I went ballistic on why is the corner jumping two out, right? Versus in this type of tight set type of stacked formation. I feel like that's what's going on. So we're gonna watch it again. These rules are they sound? No, they may not be the most sound rules, but if we can figure out what they're doing, then we can at least anticipate how to play it right. All right. Again, it's got a stack over here on the left hand side. I got stack on both sides, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Because some of these formations are kind of like semi compressions. They're kind of like right on the edge of compression, which is just today's offense messing with defenses, not allowing defenses to get into boxes and get into all types of checks that we can get into. All right. So let's just take a look at this. Again, you have to know that in the red zone, the corners are what? They're playing a lot closer. They usually play at about 5 yards, or sometimes they press when the ball gets inside the 20, really gets inside the 15. But again, let's just see what happens here. So one comes under two. All right. So in this case, and I think my theory is this. I don't have a straight theory on this, but the way it plays out, anytime one comes under two, usually like that easy, the corner now just turns back into his quarters match rules, and he's going to hunt up number two. And try to, if he runs a corner, he'll be sitting on it. If he runs a post, the safety will be there. This safety now, the way they play it, I actually do love this right here. The kind of safeties play better in the red zone, in my opinion. But the safety here, he sees that one goes under two, but he goes above the linebackers, which if you've ever watched my old videos, I've always talked about it when I coach the safeties. I wouldn't give him yard lines and say, hey, if the guy goes 10 yards, match him. That's not realistic. I always say if the linebackers get a good drop and they give good body presence, you don't have to necessarily jump that guy. You can just kind of shadow him over the top. But if he goes above the linebackers behind him, then you need to take him. So the safety does a pretty good job on that one over there. All right. Now, again, I don't know what kind of check this is. I'm not sure what kind of world we're playing over here. But if we did get one staying one and two went out to the flat, all right, or let me go back on this. If one ran out to the flat as well, and two went vertical, the corner would match one. So that's where I think it might be that tango rule. I don't think this is box over here. I don't think there's no elements really. It could be box. You can't really tell because it almost plays out like quarters in that against that route. Backside, we just get what? Backside, this little whip route. And the one thing about Madden, when you have good players in Madden, some people will say, "Hey, he worked out, right? So how come the corner is not being ready, getting ready to jump him?" The DBs in Madden, they have like a sick. They have like a. Some of them just know the routes. Like they know that this is not a regular out. They can tell that he's going to chop it in and come back. So when you have good DBs on the field or good defenders on the field, they almost have like psychic powers to know what kind of routes they are. And I'll get into that more later because there's some other routes that I've seen where I don't know how the DBs knew that he was running a wheel, he wasn't running a wheel, but they do, and it affects how they play. All right, let's go with quarters here again. Get same thing, too tight. You get now double stacks on both sides. It's gonna be motion. It's probably gonna be a run. Where's my nickel? Just stood there. All right, normal white off in the red zone. I don't think Palms is good in the red zone because if two runs out and the corner jumps off and then one goes vertical, it's an easy touchdown a lot of times. So I'm just gonna play quarters here. I don't like Palms in the red zone. And 2 versus 2x2. All right, it looks like I had the replay on another screen over here, so that was just a quick game route. And again, because the corners are playing they're playing a lot closer in the red zone inside the 10, they're going to play press. So these guys are going to play Meg, all right? They're not going to play mod. So the corner is going to stay on one, even on a quick game route, which is good here, all right? Quarter flat defender does a nice job on 2 to the flat. So that's pretty good. Again, I'm not really focused on technique so much. I'm more focused on assignment. And, we're getting good results here. Good DBs, good linebackers make a world of difference, man. World of difference. All right. All right, we got a normal formation on B. Let's see. Do we have over? We have solid. All right, I'm going to end up having to flip this defense. Quarters. Actually, you know what? Who is this? Reddick is going to drop from that angle. That's fine. Sweat's over there. All right, so we got the Kubiak Shanahan offense. You're going to get a lot of play action, over routes from compression sets. So we're going to really test out the corners. We're going to test out these safeties to see how they play this today. All right. So interesting how this is a bunch set over here. So you should get a box. You got 18, you got 84, and 87. You got 3 receivers within 5 yards. So don't like how the corner gets that leverage, how he gets really all that width. There's no reason for that. All right. Now, what I've noticed, again, I've talked about this before. In the O games, right, the safety would match this guy. Right. There's only one vertical right now kind of coming out of there. I think the tight end here is like doing a chip and like a little shallow route. So he's not getting depth. And usually the corners would do what? In the old Maddens, the corners would back off and let that guy go, and the safety would probably get burnt across his face, right? However, though, I think the way they're playing it this year, as long as really one stays one, the corner is going to sit there and take him no matter what, which kind of stops a lot of the meta plays from last year. Or if for some reason there was a fast tight end or something like that, whoever's the deepest out of the bunch when they play box, seems like that's the guy that he's going to end up taking. So it could have been a tight end. But anyway, the corner plays that, and we're good. What that does is allows the safety to be better versus the run, you would hope, right? It could be more firm. So if you want to use that guy, you don't have to worry about necessarily taking that guy across the field. But if you get a poor performance from your corner, you're in trouble. Now on the backside, the safety, if you play quarters versus a 3x1 set, the backside safety, he's looking to poach number 3 if he goes vertical. But from this formation, out of a bunch, you don't really get this, especially this type of formation. You don't get a lot of 3 verticals. So in essence, this backside safety is going to be free. So you can use that guy and help out. People teach it all different types of way. Maybe he should help out on a post route, but that's up to you. In the game, he's going to kind of do nothing. He's going to kind of just hang out and play the quarterback and just kind of play in that seam area. But I wouldn't be too discouraged with this. I think it'd be played better if they run this again. I think the corner will play it better. You can also back off the corner. I think he might get better leverage that way too. So, all right, let's go. Again, we're getting a lot of tight 2x2. I'm calling palms, but it doesn't matter because it's going to convert to what? Quarters. And we're in the red zone, so the corners are playing. They should be playing more Meg rules. I'm not sure on the left-hand side. We might get a box check. I'm playing with the darn, whatchamacallit, with the linebacker there. That's on me. All right, so let's see here. Remember I had said that I think that if 2 goes out, right, and 1 goes vertical, 1 stays, 1 goes vertical, 2 works out. So any type of like, I mean, this is a smash combination, pretty easy to see, that the corner usually would come off and play the tight end here. But right now, it looks like both guys are kind of lost in translation here. They got looks like Slay's kind of sitting there waiting, and I think he just sees the ball thrown and just goes back and makes this play. The safety, he's not a good player. Remember we talked about that. So I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He's looking to play number 2, but as soon as 2 goes out, then he tries to go back late. So I think that's just more of a that's just a bad play by the safety. And I think this is Slay, who was about to tango over here, decided to come off once he saw the ball was thrown. Maybe he saw somebody wide open, so he kind of covered him over here. All right. So let's see here. A lot of crazy moves down here in the red zone. When guys are close, the play's a little different. Yeah, if they treated this like box, remember I told you they could treat this like box with this guy here, 1 and 2, close, offset back. Could be that way. Because that's the only reason why, again, I just talked about box, why this safety would try to run over and play the deepest player out of the box, the one that's going, down the field. With 18 doing all this stutter step, he's probably thinking, I don't have to play him. Let me get over here. But there's not enough field. We're in the red zone. So that's a little funky. Again, I may not want to call quarters in the red zone if it's really that funky. The way the game is playing, there's so many good offensive routes, and they just do so many in and out moves and all this stuff. It's going to be tough. So maybe I don't want to play too much quarters. Yeah, you know what? Manning up the corners, that's something that I talked about last year. I mean, again, if you press against spread formations, usually you get that. You get if you call quarters, you're going to get mag corners. Now, if you do it out of against a spread formation 2x2 or even 3x1, if you do it, actually no 2x2, if you do it out of palms, the corners can still potentially come off if 2 goes out versus spread. But when you get into the compression sets, I don't know how they play, so I might test that out today a little bit and press the corners. I don't know if they're going to actually meg up on 1. I don't know, so we got to take a look at that. Kind of getting a look at it right now. I don't think they will meg up if you press the guys. Now, actually putting those guys in man assignments, I did that last year, Angel. Actually, if I got a formation where I knew it was busted and the corner was going to play something stupid, I would just man up. I would just play cover 2 man, which is a whole nother video. I would actually man up the corner and the safeties on players and actually play a version of 2 man, like Fangio style, and get out of playing quarters. But this right here, again, we're going to find out if there's bunch rules or not. But if this is just stack rules, I don't know if he did this where he bought 1. 1 worked out. He's thinking, I got to buy this, right? Safety plays 2. He does a poor job of running downhill here. I just gave the safeties compliments before of playing square and playing slow, but this is a bad example. He's out leveraged, right? So if this is just stack rules, like I talked about, 1 works out. Does he know the route? You would hope that he would, and he would come off of this, but he doesn't in this play. If this is bunch rules, he's thinking, I got to play the deepest guy. That's not the deepest guy. So I'm thinking these are stack rules right now. So as you work through it, some of these new formations in Madden with the flex Y off and normal Y off and all these kind of like hybrid compression slash, they're again, it's built to good offensive coordinators understand defense, and the same thing for good defensive coordinators understand offense. So they know that we have rules on defense where if you have two players close, they're going to get into a zone it. They're going to get into a tango. They're going to get into a box and get into a triangle. They're going to get into whatever. All these different adjustments that we can make versus certain formations. So in real life, you're getting a lot of these kind of formations where it's not really a true stack. It's kind of like we're loose, but we're not. So you're going to see DBs talking to each other like, hey, do you want to work together? Do you not want to work together? Next thing you know, the ball is snapped and the offense is running easy, simple combinations that are getting blown coverages because of that. So it's showing up in Madden, and I'm not sure what the developers are trying to do and how they're trying to like I don't even know if they're trying to counter it. They could just be like stuck in last year's game and they're getting kind of screwed up. But I do know the fact that the corners play a little bit more aggressive and try to play more of man rules first is kind of a little bit of a tell that the developers wanted to try to stop certain things. So anyway, but yeah, Angel man, I think that's something that I've talked about doing in the future is actually playing quarters or playing cover six and just trying my best if I can to convert some of the half the field into two man, half the field into cover zero look, like a modified cover zero where the corner and the safety are playing man on the slot receivers, on the two receivers, and then I'll use the quarter flat defender and maybe try to take away something. So that's a little bit what I was talking about. If they are playing tangle rules versus stacks, I have some freedom to kind of change up the defense manually and make some new defenses. So that'll be pretty cool. All right. Okay, again, normal Y off week. I think this is normal spread 2x2, but it could be a little bit of a condensed formation on the right side. Let's go palms. Nope, normal spread 2x2 on the left. Tight end got flanker, tight end flanker on the right. Come on, get off the guy. Quick game. Let me just see the replay. Huh. So if you see this play right here, they play palms. So last year, I think I remember, they didn't play palms to a tight end that was in line, meaning that the tight end was attached to the line of scrimmage. They played just quarters. In order for the corner to become a palms corner and play the flat, it had to be a spread formation like this. It had to have number two detached from the offensive line. But I've seen this so far. I think I've seen it already more than once where even though the tight end is attached as a wing, the corner sees that as two to the flat. So we're in palms. So he's going to now take that. And then the safety has all of one. Now, the safeties never react that great versus slants. They always kind of sit back. They don't really come up. But, that's that. And then you would like to see your quarter flat defender not chase this route because Palms is on right now. So he could be a hook defender, sit right there in the numbers and get a pick. But he doesn't change his rules. So that's pretty bad. Over here, we get just double slant to the flat. So that's pretty much, that's how it's going to play out there. It looks like, I don't know where the corner actually did come off on the outside. That's not right. I'm not going to worry about that, though, too much. All right, we got tight Y off. Again, I'm playing a lot of quarters and or palms, but I know a tight set's going to convert to quarters, so let's play it out. I hope we do get some routes into the boundary because I think the corners play a little different into the boundary. Yesterday I talked a lot about like left side, right side. I think it's more about passing strength and away from passing strength. You get some different results. So I think that's what's happening a little bit. Sorry about some background noise. My boiler's going off. All right. Let's see. Again, we get anytime the receiver runs into the DN, it kind of screws up everything up. Can't really tell what's going on. So, from what I've seen, that's fine. I can't really tell. I mean, one runs like an 8-yard in route. The safety should play that. I don't know why he's not playing that right there. Hard to tell what's going on the left side. Right side, we're in the boundary. Got a stack formation. One runs out. One runs vertical. Two runs out. This is so far down the field. I feel like there's going to be no tango here. Remember I talked about how potential of a tango can happen, where the corner can come off and play two. But I think this is too far down the field, and that's what we have to take a look at some more. I feel like if that was a 5 yard out, he would have definitely came off, but he didn't do it here. And I don't know if the ball was thrown. That's the reason why the quarter flat defender, yeah, I thought we don't have eyes in the back of our head anymore, but our quarter flat defender getting a little too busy on number two, but that's not bad. He should just play underneath number two out to the curl flat area, but he comes off and makes the tackle. So, all right. Let me see what the question is. So, thanks for sub, Ice. Thanks for subbing, bro. I'm just trying to look at this game from a sim standpoint. I'm trying to use my NFL background as a coach and try to see if I can figure out, make some sense of how Madden plays this year compared to last year. I've been doing it for a couple years, trying to figure out all the match defenses, all the rules, and everything like that. So you're gonna hear me use some NFL lingo, give some examples, but really we're just here to, that's a run play. We're just here to try to figure out how the game plays so we can play more palms, more 6, more 9. That's today's football. Everybody's playing the Fangio style defense, as they call it. So let's do that here in Madden. All right, so we got quarters. I know I got Reddick playing a stand-up linebacker. That's not what I want. Stretch is always a good play, no matter what the front is. Cover 9 is pretty good. Everybody's talking about cover 9, man. Why is cover 9 pretty good? Because I had some theories that the corner wasn't playing well last year. Like it was a soft squat corner, and they got cover 9 also in nickel over. Good stuff. Didn't know that. That's huge, man. That's huge. So we're talking about quarters and palms, and I've spent a full day on it. Maybe cover 6 and cover 9 really is what I need to be in, and maybe what the new meta would be for us, right? Us sim guys. I hate to use the word meta for us, but cover 2 pounder, corners are flat, cloud flats are back. Okay, interesting. Oops, I got caught in this guy. Looks like Superman diving tackles are back too. I don't like that. Cover 2 is great. Oh, come on. You messing with me, KG. K-Ghost, you messing with me. Cover 2 is crazy good now. There's no way. There's no way cover 2 is back like that. But I guess it is, man. People saying cover 6 is good. That's probably part of the reason. Because the quarter side is probably effed up. All right. So again, we got stacks over here, backs away, we're into the boundary. One stays 1, corner stays on 1. We get a little whip route here. Quarter flat defender has to buy that. We're in good shape. We get another stack over here. Ooh boy. Is the ball thrown? It's hard to tell if the DBs are playing this. Ball was thrown. Okay, so I can't really tell what was happening over here. Again, is this a bunch formation? I don't know. It's 4-7-3. It's a spot combo built out of a bunch-like formation, but I'm going to leave that alone so I don't get caught up on that. I'll be there all day trying to figure that out. Running back seems unaccounted for in cover 4. It depends on if it's 3x1. The quarter flat defender weak does a good job of playing him. If it's 2x2, he might sneak out. He might sneak out. I got to see the exact what formation are you talking about, because that probably plays a role. Trying to put Reddick on the line of scrimmage, even though he's dropping. Stretch. Oh! What did I just do there? I actually tried to click on and make a tackle and look like complete trash. I gotta get my stick right. That's gonna just be playing games. I should never have dove. There was no reason for me to dive. I should have just tackled that dude normal. I thought for some reason the running back was gonna run to the sideline. Let me stop talking about bad play. I should need to get back on my stick skills here. I'm worried about coverage too much. Quarters in the red zone. Sometimes I hard flat the quarter flats here, but it's a run. Good defense. Running back streaks by 2x2 through receiver. Oh yeah. That's always been in the game, Angel. That's like one of the first things I always talk about when you play quarters. That's why I like to use the middle linebacker, because you want to take that play away. When three goes through the line of scrimmage and runs straight streak down the field or corner, that's the three Rex responsibility, and the computer doesn't play it. You would think they would be on. You would think that the developers would just change that, man. So you would think they would, but they haven't caught on to that yet. Now, if you use her as safety and you know that people are doing that to you, you can kind of get away with maybe not matching and kind of playing a soft zone with your safety and try to protect your linebacker. But you shouldn't have to do all that. Ooh, okay. Something happened there. Something happened there to that stack formation. We gotta take a look at that. That was just a wheel vertical route, right? Versus stack. I'm getting a lot of red zone plays right now. I wasn't anticipating that. So, because the corners are playing from a press position, I'm wondering if, like over here, right? You see how they're playing press in the red zone? So that usually puts him in Meg, right? So he's just basically going to play man. He's not worried about anything else. It's a vertical route, so it's easy to see. Now over here, we have the corner also playing in a press position, but kind of not aligned. So I would manually press this guy and get him over the top of this player, outside leverage, and he should play. He's probably going to do the same thing. Now, I need to find out, though, because this is a stack formation, and I had just talked about when one stays one, they might have in the game, if two goes out to the flat, that the corner would what? He would tango with the safety and take the out, and then the safety would take the new number two. So I wasn't paying attention there. I wish I would have backed the corner off to see if they did a tango, or I would have just at least pressed this guy to make sure one was gone. And I would have seen, that might have freed up the safety. But in general, this quarter flat defender, this linebacker, has to go play this route. It's a flat route. He turns up. That's a horrible job by that player. I don't know who that is. No, that's one of the linebackers. I said they're not very good. So that could be a little bit of a problem, but that's all right. I think that's more of an adjustment on me as a user. I think I can kind of fix that problem. Yeah, that's why I use the 3-rec, right? Everybody else plays well enough. Yep. It's funny, man, because in my leagues, I'm in 2 leagues right now, and I have the 49ers. That's my team, as you know. And I have Fred Warner, bro. I don't really want to have to use your Fred Warner most of the game. I shouldn't have to, right? He should be just doing work by himself, and then I can go use her like somebody else, So I'm gonna try this year to kind of not use that guy as much and see what happens, and try to cover up for some of the stuff that I know people are gonna do by using other players. All right. Like I said, I'm suffering from a little bit of a cold here, guys, so I'm a little nasal. All right, we got 3x1, bunch X nasty. Doesn't matter what I call. Again, this is a good time to call cover 6 or cover 9. I'm going to try to get Slay to press. I'm going to see what happens. Oh, I hate when the computer does this. All right, let's go back off. Back off, Slay. Oh, he had nothing. Yeah, you're right. Try to have him run the quarter flat. The problem is, it depends on the formation, right? I guess I'll know the formation. And with the hashes, because he could switch over and become a middle linebacker depending if it's like formation to the boundary or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So you can't always control who's your quarter flat defender unless you know that somebody's not running formation to the boundary. I don't know what I just called there. I wasn't paying attention. It's the first time we called cover 1. First time we called cover 1, I called it by accident. Right? Last play. Yeah, I called cover 1 Robert press by accident. All right. Empty chips. I really want to go palms. See if we can get it in. Oh, this is a 4x1 formation. So we're going to have to take a look at this later, guys. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this 4x1. Because it's a chip, I talked about this in the stream earlier today. Because it's a chip, most defensive coordinators are going to treat this like no different if it was a running back standing in the backfield, right? Because he's not going to probably run a vertical route from the chip position. I think even in the game, I don't know if they have that. He's going to do what? He's gonna chip the outside, the edged rusher, right, and just probably run to the flat. So hopefully this doesn't screw up the rules. I think we were in palms, and again, it looks a little bit screwy right here. I wish they would just ignore that guy and just rock. Now, there's some tips here. I don't want to go into too much detail because I haven't tested it out. But like Angel was talking about, if you man up, sometimes players on other players, and I talked about this before. If you man up, let's say like a running back, man up a linebacker on this running back, a lot of times the rest of the DBs won't pay attention to that guy. It's like he's not even there. So it's like he's X'd out. And then the rest of the defense might play according to plan. So I got to take a look at that. So, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time on this formation, but we definitely have to come back to this formation. Let me just take a quick little screenshot of this, and then I'm gonna have to come back to this later. Yeah, using the three rack sometimes. I'm using the safeties. It helps. You can kind of help out. What's up with K Ghost? Why not Warner as the will? Have him run the quarter foot. Yeah, that's what I think I explained myself. I don't know if I can always make sure that he's the will. It depends on the formation. They don't have a will linebacker. They just have technically like a right and a left linebacker, depending on where you put him in the depth chart. That's the bad thing. What I end up doing is, if I'm not mistaken, usually the formations end up being whoever's your first sub linebacker plays on the right of screen, the left inside linebacker, and usually, if versus a 2-by-2 formation, most of the time the tight end's on the right, so he ends up being that quarter flat defender. If it's 3-by-1, he'll be in the same spot if the trips are to the left. But for some reason, if the ball's in the other hash, most people do put their trips into the field. So I would have to, let's say the ball was on the left hash, and he's the first sub inside linebacker, he's going to be now the middle linebacker. He's going to be the three rec with the trips to the right on screen. There's no way to flip that unless you know something I don't. Anyway, that was just a bad. What was the actual play? What did he do? Just throw the ball down the field, and Cousins just forced it to the outside. Not sure why he did that. All right, let's jump back on defense here. All right, so we got to play. What other fronts do we have? We have 46, but I'm not going to play 46 right now. You know what? Over wide, we'll do that instead, because that's going to put the edge rushers at the end. I'm going to squeeze the front here just so that we can be sounder. Probably going to get stretch. I tried to wait there as a safety. I had no idea where everybody was going to fit. So we're gonna have to work. We're gonna have to work on the run defense this year, man. We gotta get back to that. You guys are making me want to see this cover 6, man. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, bro. I ain't gonna do cover 6 tonight. I want to make sure that I didn't mean to do this. I want to make sure that people who watch the stream and people who want to know about quarters feels a little bit better. That it's not so bad. As long as you kind of anticipate what's going to happen. So I think that's why I'm just doing this. I was supposed to be working on 3 seam right now, but I wanted to just keep on going on this because I didn't feel good about how some people are just kind of scared of running it right now. All right, we got an empty bunch wide. Doesn't really matter if I call quarters or palms because we're going to get our box over here, and then we're going to get our stack rules to the left. We'll figure it out as we go. All right, so they played that tango that I talked about to the stack on the left of screen, away from the passing strength. So let's take a look at this. All right, so I had said at a stack, if one runs to the flat, the corner will take it, and then the safety would take 2. If for some reason they switch, the corner basically he's taking the first outside route. Doesn't matter if it's short or it doesn't matter if it's long. All right. So that's pretty much what I've seen so far out of a stack formation. I don't know what name they would call it, but I would call this tango between the corner and the safety. Your corner flat right here, if he knew it was tango, well, let me not get into that. Let me save that. I'm gonna save that for another day, for exclusive. I ain't gonna put all that out there right now. All right, so we got bunch. Okay, we get obviously 2 running to the flat, 1 stays home. Now the ball's in the middle of the field, so I don't know if there's a boundary. That's one thing I gotta start looking at is some of the dividers. Sometimes when routes go inside the numbers, outside the numbers, it affects how guys play. But in general, when I talked about 1 comes under 2, or I think if 1 just sits at home like he's doing right now, which is no different than really 1 coming under 2, the corner is going to now go back into a zone mentality, look to match any vertical route to the outside that's going deep. It looks like he's kind of doing that right there, so that's pretty good. So this is really no different than regular box. First to the flat by your nickel. Does he stay on him when he turns up? He does. Not too great, but then the corner's there to help out. Our inside part of our box actually matches for a couple steps. So that's what happens here. And this is from last year too. This is no different. If you don't use your 3-rack, good 3-racks will match for a little bit, but then they kind of stop. Now you got to have pressure if you're a quarter scheme guy. You got to have good D-line because you don't want the quarterback to hold the ball that long. So that's just something you got to have in your scheme. If you don't have a pass rush, don't run quarters. Now let's talk about the safety. Actually sits there and stays square for a second. He needs to drive that a lot faster, but at least he's going towards him. But that's still open, right? We could talk about technique on that later. So that play right there actually played out pretty well. I thought that was pretty good. Again, so it depends on what the offense is running and what they have in their playbook, and you can figure it out from there. Let's go dime again. Let's go palms. 2x2 spread. Let's see what we get here. Packers D line's crazy good. And the run D, yeah, they probably got some good abilities, right? We got 2 verticals on the left, 2 individual routes, and it looks like we had a China concept on the right-hand side. All right, so I'm in palms. So over here to this spread set, 1 and 2 go vertical. It's going to turn into quarters. Corner's going to match 1. Don't know why this safety is running around like this, but he has to match 2. Quarter flat defender. I love how he gets hands on this guy. Nice job. Works to the quarter flat right here. Boom. Anybody that's new and listening to this, this is like a review, like really honestly for a lot of stuff I've done over the past year or two. If you go back and look at my playlist, I have videos talking about palms, quarters versus each formation, the reads, the rules, and what each person does. So what I'm doing now early is kind of like a review, and it's probably going to help guys that have been rocking with me for a couple years because they already know most of the rules. So as I go through this, I'm kind of speaking quick. I'm not really teaching. It's more just trying to make sure we figure out how this thing works, and then I'm going to go back and make my teach videos from scratch once we get it all figured out. All right, so we got just normal right here. So again, we're playing palms. There's no out of 2. So in this case, it turns back into quarters rules. The outside corner, because it's spread, is playing mod, right? So he only takes number 1 if he goes over 10 yards. He goes under, he lets him go. He looks to hunt up number 2, looking for a corner. Safety's playing over here. You see how much cleaner, playing with the Eagles. My second time playing with the Eagles, how much cleaner these guys are. So I think definitely awareness makes a big difference, especially at the corner position. And then even over here, our quarter flat defender here does a nice job working, playing in that little slot area. He has no other work. So good field sense awareness, right? No outsiders for Gary, Kenny, Clark, inside stuff, yeah. Packers have been good for a while, man. I hate playing against those guys. They have all the right abilities in all the right places. All right, we should have a box on the left-hand side. We should get our stack rules, probably tango on the right-hand side. Looks like that was played pretty well off the first look. 4-7-3, a.k.a. spot. I wish we had the previous play here, but we're playing it all Madden, and right now all Madden doesn't tell you the previous play. But first to the flat's taken care of by the quarter flat defender here. The low part of the box. The inside part of the box, the wall player. He shouldn't really work too far inside, but I guess he did that because it's empty. I don't know why he's doing that. He should just sit there. He would have been in a good position to play this inside part of the box right here. Now, this is into the boundary. All right. I'll leave that alone. Let me not go into that right now. So they're just playing out regular box here, and this actually works out. So again, because one comes under two, the corner doesn't play. He doesn't have to necessarily. He's thinking, I got to now play. What's the vertical of this? And he sees the corner coming at him. I don't like how he overruns him, but he's trying to get on top of him. I think he's trying to get over the top in case he runs a streak. I think that's the reason why he's looking like he's running so fast. Oh wait, what happened on the backside real quick? All right, so we got just a smash combination, nothing crazy. Yeah, I don't know. See, this is where I thought it would have been the tango. One ends up going out because he kind of does it kind of late. I would think the corner would play him and the safety would go play the corner route. But the ball was thrown to the other side, so I'm not quite sure. Jordan Love just can't throw. Yeah, I can only imagine. He's probably not there yet. I mean, man, I can't talk. I got Brock Purdy as my starting quarterback, which I'll save that for another day. I'm happy I've got Brock Purdy, but I don't even want to go into it, man. Let me not go into it. Let's keep it on Madden. All right. I was still in dime defense. You just do a little shallow underneath. There's not much you can do about that. Not much you can do about that. Let's play over wide. Play some quarters here. I'm a little worried about the inside zone to the left. Again, I'm not trying to play with a linebacker. Usually I would, but I don't want to mess up the video. I should have fit even faster. All right, tray open. Okay, so versus 3x1, I'm going to play more palms. Nickel over palms. Computer knows that, so they actually went to 3x1 the other side. Doesn't matter. Guys will still play well. I forgot to back up the nickel, but he played it well. Maddox played that pretty well. You're going to see the nickel and the safety play 2 and 3 vertical. I should probably come up with a different name than vertical. That's how I was taught, but I mean, just 2 and 3 deep, right? So 2 and 3 go deep. We're in palms. Nickel stays with 2. Strong safety stays with 3. Kind of, sort of. Again, this is the backside guy in palms who really is doing nothing. He's still using his rules that he would use in quarters and comes over and looks to help out on 3, supposedly. But this is the guy that I would use there, or I would put him in a different assignment. So we're good there. Our corner on the backside is playing Meg from off. Looks a lot better than it was last year. And then our outside corner over here is playing Meg from off, which I'm happy that that's the way it is right now. I think last year, that was the difference. I think the corner to the field. Let me talk about this. I think in palms last year, some of the stuff's coming back, right? It's been 24 hours of playing Madden. The corner to the passing strength, he wasn't playing Meg. He was playing Mod. So he only covered 1 if he went past 10 yards. If you got like a hitch and number 2 was running a fade, I think he would drop back and help out with that fade. I think that was it. And then they still had the nickel still trying to get there late, and the safety. So you had like 3 players on that guy. But Madden knew that was a problem. But now they got rid of that. I think they went back to making the corner playing Meg out here, which kind of opens up that fade route, the shock option play we talked about earlier today. So off coverage just sucks. It's sad because off coverage is what people do in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like not a lot of people press because everybody's playing this Fangio style defense. Everybody wants the corners to play off with with eyes and match and all types of stuff. But at least I think that's the case. That's what I hear, at least, right? I don't watch every game. Don't get me excited in real life. Those Ducks in Madden. Feel bad for Packers fans. Got a good D though. All right, we got empty. So because of I'm worried about 3 going vertical and not being covered by the linebacker, I'm going to play palms because that'll take care of 3 going vertical. I'm a little weak on the right side. They run it out and a go. And then I didn't back up my nickel. I didn't back up my nickel. He got burnt and then decided to come off. Now, again, that's not his responsibility. So this is what I'm talking about. It looks like right now we got to just always back off the nickel. I got to do that. That's my fault. Poor job by me. I think that would also just confuse the quarterback. But also, the rules are messed up a little bit here. But if I have the nickel playing back, he would have been on top of this a little bit longer. But again, the safety over here, who's not a good player, he shouldn't be following this guy. He's not sure. So we know what I've noticed. Let me give you guys another tip, man. You guys have been rocking with me for days now. I've noticed that stick route combinations, right? So if this was shock Y option, I wish I can draw on the screen. This player 17 would run 5 yards up, turn out. If it's man, he would run away from the man. If it's zone, his settle in the zone. And if you see the screen drawing of that, it's like a red, it's usually the highlighted route, and it shows like an option. The option always makes that safety unsure of what's going on, which kind of freezes him. The other problem is these little over routes that kind of go over the field and sit down, it's really called like a buck route. It's usually called a tight end buck, but it's just like a little curl up route, sits in the middle. That can also distract the safety, especially a bad one. So the safety's not sure right now. If you're playing safety, you're not sure. Is this guy running a vertical route? Is he running a crossing route across the field? If so, I got to take him, right? So that kind of makes him come over. I'm not making an excuse, but one of the guys in the Discord I'm in talked about backing the safety up. I think that's a good idea too. Backing up the whole defense might be the way to go. So maybe it's not the best defense to run on first down, but if it's third and long, you might be able to kind of play it. What do we got? Goal line right now? What the hell? All right, let's just play goal line. Let's just get to this. All right, so that looks bad, but I think I can make the adjustment. So I'm going to stick with the idea that palms is not bad. I think we'll be all right.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers,
3-by-1.
speed and heft, and able to really make a big time.
You don't want to play.
Back at the 5-yard line now, 2nd and goal. And the Eagles are going to go ahead and take another timeout. And that's going to leave.
All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play palms. I'm gonna back the corner off the nickel, even though we're in the red zone. I'm gonna back him off, just to see how he reacts. And then I'm gonna use the front side safety here. If it was 3-by-1, okay, we're not gonna do that anymore. Let's play quarters. We got Meg corners on the outside, both sides, so that's good. This should take care of each other. The guy to the flat is my issue. Okay, we're gonna see this right here. I was playing quarters, but for some reason the corner just decided to come off on the outside, and I'm not sure why. I'm pretty sure I called quarters. I wish I could see the last play. I can look at it from. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Let me make sure I called quarters. I didn't call palms. Reset. Yeah, it was quarters. All right. So this is, somebody asked me about this earlier. As long as these guys are in press position, usually they play Meg. He didn't do that. So I'm wondering if I have to manually press this corner. Like actually, press down on the damn D-pad and get these guys to play press. Because it looks like he's not playing press for whatever reason, So I'm wondering why he's standing out there. Again, if he's playing a zone mentality, it could be it. Somebody else hit me up that they actually changed the coverage in the red zone. They play red 7 or red 57, which is lingo from the NFL, which means that the rules are different. But I really don't think that's the case, but it could be. I mean, look at this corner. He's doing it. Now, his guy is on the ball. His guy's on the ball, too. So we got two corners doing two different things versus a quick game. So I don't like that. This is the best year for normal alignment and press zone. It's even matched it with zone chuck and disrupt more routes. K goes, if you play cover 2 and you press, do they let me cover 1 right now. If you press in cover 2, do they Did they get hands on the receivers?
Calling the timeout here. So boy,
Because
this
that's
is
something I
one
noticed
where
that
they
sometimes when you play cover two
timeouts now.
and you manually press, sometimes they wouldn't get hands on the receivers. I know certain routes they don't. I know certain routes they don't do it, but I'm just curious. I'm gonna manually press just to make sure the corners are there. I'm gonna see if there's an outright of two. Do they come off? They do. All right, so that was palms. That's the reason why I don't like palms in the red zone. Somebody asked me about if you manually press in palms, will the corners still play two to the flat? And that's what happened here. Two goes to the flat, he came off. Again, I don't know why. If you want to really make this right, I don't know if it's only one side or the other. Let's see what's happening over here. There's nobody to the flat, so I can't really tell. This is just this is double slants, dragon lion. So over here, if you if you know the tendency of most football teams, if they're gonna run quick game, you're gonna get your double slants from your two receivers, and you're gonna get your slant flat over here with the tight end side. So if you can use this quarter flat defender, and as soon as two goes out, just sit. You don't have to go out anymore. You can get underneath this window. Now you would like to see the safety still drive that, but that safety is not worth a damn. So that's just the way it is. All right. Let's see. Even cover two reroutes with the clouds. Okay, yeah, but they did that last year too. They did reroute. If you called, there's three different flats. If you called just the cloud flat, and you don't, okay, you would have to. Let me go back on that. If I'm not mistaken, the actual play call needed to be within the play call. So you call cover. Tampa 2 does this. If you called Tampa 2 last year, the corners would be cloud flats and they would jam. But if you try to call like what's the other one? 2 sync, where the corners are actually soft squats, and you tried to hot route the corners into cloud flats, they would not jam because that's a different type of cloud flat. It's almost playing like how an outside linebacker would play cloud flat, but he's just standing out there. They won't get hands on number two if you audible to it, if you hot route to it. But if you let it be the actual play call, usually they would do it. But I'm asking, if you call Tampa 2 and you press with your corners, do they get hands on them? I don't know. That's if they do, I would love it. And they still sink back and play. They play the V cut, they play the corner routes, they play the whole shots down the sideline, and then they come up late. That would be great. Oh, okay. So, well, yeah, that's never been a problem, right? The cloud flats wouldn't gain depth at all. It's so funny. I wanted to do a video on cover two last year. Actually, I made a couple videos. I never put them out. I think in the beginning of the game, I don't know, maybe I'm going back 2 years. I actually thought the cloud flats got good depth. I really do. I thought they actually did sink back in normal cover two. Now, if you play like hard flat, obviously, right, or if you have soft squat and somebody comes to the flat right away, they would just jump up. But yeah, we're gonna have to talk about cover two, bro, because when I get to cover 9 and cover 6, you know what I'm saying? Uh, there are, if I'm not mistaken, in cover 9 and cover 6, there are a couple dime defenses that I know for cover 6. I think there's a couple defenses that don't show it. If I'm not mistaken. But I'm a real big guy on disguising. I don't like people to know what I'm in. So a lot of times I would come out in quarters and I would press the corners. I would back them off. All right. So then I would come out in quarters, right? And then I would check the cover 6 and one of the corners would move up or move back. And that kind of makes people not sure if you're in quarters or if you're in cover 6. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's definitely a cover 9 show too that was in dime 236. Like the dime 236 package was one of my favorites. Not only do you get a safety at playing linebacker in a sim fashion, you also get a lot of show twos. So the show two look was show cover two, but then you can play cover 6, cover 4, cover 9. I'm pretty sure that dime 236 did a nice job versus that last year. I'm really big into disguising, man. We could spend a whole hour talking about that because I have my own ways to disguise when people don't know what I'm in. So And I'm not talking about moving guys because in my leagues you can't manually move people that you don't user. So you can only move one guy, and that's the guy you're usering. So I'm not into all the move a safety down, move a guy left, move a guy right, do all that crap that I see people do. My stuff looks natural. It looks like it's part of the play. So I actually have some videos. If you look at my tip videos, my golden nugget tip videos, I think I have a way to how to disguise and make it look natural. Yeah, Dime 236 is really good with disguising. Let me stop real quick because we're talking about this. Usually, like when you play, hold on, let me. Can I turn off the? I'm in a league game. Usually, every set right has two players that look the same. So if you call cover three sky and cover one, it looks the same from the shell, from the alignments of the corners, and then they put in last year the two invert, so it looks like cover three, and that's like a specialized play. But then all of a sudden you're playing a too high. You're playing too high. So I always in my when I put in coverages, I always try to put in coverages that are have three different complements to it, three ways that I can get lined up and it can look the same. So, and there might be three separate coverages. So, for example, when I play quarters, the next thing that I look for usually is three buzz because I can have the same shell, right? And then I might look for like a blitz, some sort of could be a zero blitz. You can make quarters and cover zero blitz look the same versus certain formations. It could be just a zone blitz, right? There's certain plays that play cover one robber from a quarter shell. So I always try to have that third complement. I always try to have my main coverage, and then I try to have two or three other coverages that I can always mix up. And then you can go a whole series and just mix that up, rotate it, Rolodex it. You can go into a game with a game plan. So that's how I usually do my disguising. I do have some other advanced ways of doing it, but I always try to make sure that my defense is looking the same naturally just by the play calls that I'm calling. So I prefer dime rush formation, five wide. Let me get into some more gameplay here. I haven't worked with dime rush. That's one thing I forgot to do last year. I should have done that. All right, we're going to get bunch to the left side. We get box. We get our stack checks to the right. I think we get that tango. There goes the tango to the right. Over here. Oof. It's a big hit right there. Oof. I see guys are diving again on defense. Please don't be the play I think it is. Okay. So, all right. So we have, it should be a box check over here, right? So I said anytime that one comes under two, right? That the corner is thinking, I have to play the deepest route that's coming out of this bunch. Right now, 87 most likely is the deepest route. So he's going to run towards him, and he's going to man him up. All right? That's what I've noticed how they're playing their box, right? So as soon as that happens, I'm looking, okay, cool. I'm zone eyes, but I'm not zone eyes. I'm actually working for depth, trying to get on top of the deepest route. What is the safety doing? And I'll talk about this in a second. The underneath route's covered with the linebacker, the inside part of the wall. This outside player here should be staying with this wheel. He does late, thank God. And again, this safety here, why is he not doing anything? Why is he kind of just playing in no man's land, right? Why is he not looking to help out here? Well, because, again, I think off of Madden last year, a lot of people found out that versus quarters box, the best way to beat it is to run three routes past 10 yards, right? And right now you have two routes that are going past 10 yards. Some people would find a different way to kind of like take the third receiver and run him on a post, run him on a vertical, run him on something deep. And I think Madden is trying to get that safety to help out now on these routes that kind of were busters, plays that busted up the coverage. And there are certain plays that I can talk about right now that I know we would bust up the coverage from back in the day, but I think that's the reason why it's programmed different, why box is programmed much different. Do I like it? No, but I understand it. So I think I'm going to go with that for now and just kind of see if that sticks to be true. Now we got a stack formation over here. The corner and the safety are playing tango. So the corner is going to take the first outside route, no matter how deep it is. It could be a short route. It could be a deep route, right? So he's going to look it out. First guy that breaks out, he'll take. He takes the out route there, about 8 yards. Puts the safety in a poor position to have to play this corner, okay? But he has to be a baller. I'm going to say something real quick. Like, a lot of people are probably going to say it's stupid how the safety's, like, in a bad position. First of all, when you play coverages, you can't be right all the time. Like, you can't do anything. When I coached with the Bills, my second year with the Bills, first year, Mike Pettin was the defensive coordinator. Second year, Jim Schwartz. We did a lot of this type of stuff to let our corners be more aggressive and make plays. It put our safeties, who we had two good safeties. We actually had three good safeties. We had Aaron Williams, we had Denoris Searcy, and we had Corey Graham. Now, Aaron Williams and Corey Graham were former corners, so they can play, they can run. But there were a lot of times where they were left out because of similar principles like this. They were playing inside leverage, and guys were running away from them. But if they knew that, they played it, and they made up the ground, and they played well. Now, in the Madden world, how's that going to work? Well, you can use that, knowing that that's the weakness, and people are going to attack you, and you can try to jump the hell out of these corner routes. Be safe. You might get beat once or twice, but hey, that's it. Or you got to make sure your safeties are really good. You want to, if your league allows you to put corners as safeties, I don't really like that stuff, but do it. Or make sure you go get yourself the best safeties in the world who can at least catch up. At least the good thing is that Madden has these animations that these corners, the DBs jump higher. It's harder to actually get open on them. So it's not the worst thing in the world that the safeties are going to be having to chase corner routes a lot, but you just got to make sure you have the right people on the field. Maddox is sneaky good, Senor. You're right. I actually like him, man. He's playing pretty well in this game. You have chosen your complementary plays to keep your base defense, situation-based formation, based on random. Oh, okay. So it's funny, man, Mike. I'm a defensive guy, so it's kind of like I go by feel a little bit. When I game plan it, it's more of, and we're getting into another conversation, but it's a good conversation to have. All right, so let's just talk about like what my team can do well, right? So I always try to, work with that. But let's just talk about it. Beginning of the year, I want to be a quarters team, right? And I know that I'm going to play quarters. My complement to quarters is cover one, because I feel like people that try to attack quarters are going to try to take shots on you. They're going to try to get guys running open. They're going to try to run shallow routes. So I like cover one, all right? And usually it's cover one robber. So there's a lot of defenses where you can kind of make those two look the same. And then after that, I'm going to play some sort of cover three that works with quarters and robber. So it's probably going to be 3 buzz. So let's just, for example, so those are the 3 defenses I start with. Now I'm mixing some blitzes. That's pretty much my first and second down thought process. So if I think it's a pass and my team is built that way, that's how I go first and second down. It could be a run, it could be a pass. That's how I want to play on base downs. When it gets to third and long, I have 3 coverages that I like to use, and I'll show you throughout the year how I do it. But again, one of them is probably going to be some sort of man coverage. It might turn into playing a little bit more 2-man on third and long, right? And then usually I'll take 2 zone coverages. So I usually kind of pair them in 3s for every situation. So third and 10, I'm going to probably run 2-man. I like 3 buzz, and I like cover 6. Why? I'll explain that more later, but that's what I learned when I coached with Wade Phillips. That was the way he pretty much ran his defense. And a lot of NFL teams kind of run those packages together. And if you can make cover 6 and 3 buzz look very similar from a shell. All right, 2-man, you can't really hide too much, but you can play off 2-man in Madden. Then I get to third and medium. I have 3 plays that I like to run. I like to definitely have a robber play. So cover 1 robber jumps in there. And then I'm usually going to have some sort of cover 3. Again, it could be just regular cover 3. If I think they're going to run the ball, it could be, when I say regular, I'm talking about sky, but it's probably going to be 3 buzz again. And then I'll have some specialized blitz package or something. And then third and short or fourth and short, Definitely going to be more aggressive. I'm going to stack the box. I'm going to play cover one, cover three, and probably some sort of blitz that looks just like cover one, cover three show. So that's kind of how I do it. Red zone, same thing, three coverages. I'm big into really trying to keep it the same way as I first and second down. I'm going to run quarters. I'm going to run three buzz, and I'm probably going to run some sort of maybe a blitz or maybe two man because a lot of teams will try to take shots down there. And then as we move closer down the red zone, I'm really trying to stop the run first, and I'm playing probably more man defense down there. So I have like three calls for every situation, and I rotate through. But as the game goes along, if you realize that you have to call more quarters because of the cover, because of the formations, it really you're dictated now based on what the offense is doing. So if they're coming out and in Trey Y flex all day, you can't really call certain coverages too much. You're kind of stuck into having maybe a specialized coverage for one formation. Or if you called something a lot, or let's just say somebody's throwing a lot of shallows, we just kind of talked about this. I want to play quarters, I'll set people up. Let them throw the shallow routes for the whole first half, right? Let them feel good about it. And then the second half on a key down, change it up. Like let's say you've been playing quarters and shallows have been mesh has been eating it up. All of a sudden call cover three hard flat and you might get a pick in the second half if you feel confident, if you're in control of the game. So those are the little things that I'll talk about throughout the year and how I think of defense, and that's why I'm a defensive minded person because I have my set rules, but then I kind of have a good feel when to like switch it up or when I have to take a chance or when I have to blitz. So it's not like a hard fast rule. It's more of just like a feel, but it definitely starts with having a plan, a game plan in the beginning of having like at least three things so that people are always guessing. It's hard when you're going against somebody on defense and they have like three different calls and you're not sure what it is. And then you can always, and when I say three different calls, I'm not just playing three calls all game. It's three calls per situation. So you have 9, 12 different coverages you might want to call. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's whipping my ass, I'm going to start calling other things that I usually don't call, like cover two or, you know, all out blitz. I'm going to mix in stuff when I need it. But if I'm in control of the game, I'm calling my defense. All right. Good question, man. I hope I wasn't too long winded with that, but good question. Oh, shoot. I don't want to play cover three right now. All right. I don't have any timeouts, so I had to go off sides. All right, I didn't look at the comments here. K-Jack, let's talk about defense based on what they compliment. Cover four, yeah. Compliment wheel, 4 opposite of 0, 2 zone, 2 man, 3 opposite of 1 up. Yeah, we're pretty much we're in the same deal there, K Ghost. K Ghost the Great. All right, that's a good job. I do pretty much the same thing. I see 4. 2 man in zone 0 split cave. Yeah, I do the same thing. Like I've played it. I've done that before. Where if somebody's not very good, I can call cover 4, 2 man, and cover 0, and pretty much just lock them up all game. Like those three coverages do go well together, especially when you press out of all of them, right? Because the 2 man is going to look different. So what I would do is come out like in cover 4. And I would audible to 2 man, right? That looks like a 2 high shell press. I would come out in cover 4 and press the corners. So we're playing cover 4 with press, but it looks like 2 man press. And then cover 0, if you do it the right way versus the right formation, you come out in cover 4, you call cover 4 to start, and then you go to cover 0. You can kind of disguise that to kind of make it look like 2 man press. If it's against a compression set, cover 0 has great disguise already. Like if I check the cover 0 right now, this is probably not the best way to do it. You check that late like I just did right there. It might look like I'm still playing cover 4. So I kind of like to come out in that cover 4 shell and then press, and then you can run different looks from there. You can do it the other way. You can come out and press and make sure you have other defenses that are press style defenses, right? So just something to think about. What's up, Jay Survivor? Good stuff, man. XO Football Channel. Good stuff, man. Thanks for coming over. I don't know if they told you my background, but oh, you've been here for a while. Okay, cool. You've been here ever since. All right, so you know what's going on. I don't gotta repeat nothing. Good to have you over here, man. We're just trying to look at quarters and palms. Now we're talking a little strategy about football, which I hope you guys are not bored because I can talk about this stuff all day, all day. Next thing I know, it'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, and I'm taking forever to get through this game. All right, let's try to look at these formations and let's see what we got going on here. 2x2, doesn't matter if I call quarters or palms. Those are the two coverages that I'm trying to call right now. So it doesn't matter. Let's just come out in quarters right here. We got a stack adjustment to the left. We might get a bunch adjustment to the right. Now we get motion. So we get 3x1. We're in quarters. So backside safety. I'm curious to see what he does. It comes over. It's a tough play. Because what the corner's playing what mod on the outside, so he can't take care of that route. This is actually a really tough play versus quarters. One comes under, corner lets him go. He should let him go because we're playing quarters. We're not playing palms. Our quarter flat defender should take this wheel. Doesn't do it. Almost gives up a touchdown. But again, that corner should be back there anyway. Safety's coming over to poach number 3. Now, people call it poach because that's what I've heard other people and other terminology. We've had different. I've had it called arrow. I've had it called when 3 comes over to look for 3 vertical. When the safety, backside safety comes over to look for 3 vertical. What words do you guys use in your language in quarters? But I've heard people say poach, so I've just been using it more. But I have some other words that you guys would probably be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" But we all know it doesn't matter the lingo. All right, so. The safety's kind of caught out here in no man's land. This is a guy that I think somebody was saying they use it, right? I think it was Angel said he uses the front side safety, the play side safety, or the passing string safety. That's interesting. I never thought about doing that, but he is one of the weak spots in quarters. Yeah, I know. Palms is more better. Yeah, man. No, yeah. Survivor. That's new. It's funny. I did a stream earlier today. I didn't even realize that Palms is back in nickel over, nickel normal, or whatever. It's back in some other formations, and they have cover 9 also out of nickel normal, so that's huge. I'm not really playing a lot of 3-4 teams, but I'm sure it's in there too, so that's good. But anyway, that play is a tough play. That's something you have to kind of game plan for. Let's go quarters again versus 2x2. All right. All right, we got double stack, so we should have potential double tangles right now. They're probably going to run the ball. Let's get up in there. Quick game. If you're playing somebody who's playing a lot of quarters or offense, don't be scared to throw some quick game. Throw some stick routes out of 2x2, just like that. Play quarters again. I'm going to press the corners here. Let's see what happens. When the computer shifts, usually that means you're doing something right. I didn't get to it in time. That's the same play. It's a computer. The other thing, guys who might be joining the stream late, when you play against the computer in all Madden, the computer will run plays that beats your coverage. And I think this year they actually talked about if you keep running the same thing, the computer will make adjustments on offense and defense or whatever. So I'm trying to test that out too. But they ran that same combination right there twice against me. I should have stayed on that. I knew to stay on that. I gotta get my linebacker play down. So if you guys stick with my channel, when I play my league games, I have 2 different leagues. I'm gonna talk through what I'm doing wrong too with my user. Right? I should have stayed with that guy. Now, rule-wise, why? Why should I stay with this guy, right? So, this is double stacks. We got our tangles. I'm the 3 receiver hook player. So, who am I looking for? I'm looking for, oops, get this thing. I'm looking for whichever side the running back steps to. That's the side that I'm going to work off of. So, the running back steps to the left, right? That's the 3rd receiver. So, I'm looking now to the left. If I got no work, right? If 1 and 2 for some reason went vertical, then I would match 3 to the flat. But who's coming in? I have a guy coming in. So technically my new number 3 is 18 coming across my face. All right. So now I got to match him and run with them. Because in quarters coverage, you're not sure what's going on the backside. It's split field safety, split safety defense. These guys, these 3 defenders over here, these 3 over 2, could be taken out of there with a simple out of 2, uh, maybe. But they could be taken out of there with just 2 running like an out route, 1 running vertical. You can't rely on anybody. So you have to almost become a wall player here. I use the word wall, which means that don't let that guy cross your face. I should have ran with them. I kind of hesitated as a user. I should have stayed there. So that was a bad job by me. Now, hold up. What happened with that little sit-down route? Because that's a hard route for the safety to cover. Let me go back. In quarters coverage, as soon as that guy gets over linebacker depth, safety has to drive that. So that's a hard route at about 8 yards. The safety should be taking that route right there. I'm not sure why he's not, but again, not a good player. So somebody would have said, aren't you supposed to cover that with the middle linebacker? No, not in that case. Again, maybe not the best defense to be in, but I'm just going to blitz fire zone 0. I'm sorry. I don't have anything else set up right now. A good catch, good route. Can't get mad at that. I said fire zone. I meant fire man. 0 blitz.
4 yards on the touchdown grab. And the Vikings are looking to make it 2 straight as they add on to this fourth quarter lead.
Yeah, Angel. I think if we can use palms, like I can go through my package. Like I can go through. Ask me any question you want, but personally, I like versus 2x2 sets spread. You know, quarters is a start. That's pretty much how I play. I'm not a huge fan of how palms plays. If 2 runs out and 1 runs a vertical at a spread, I've never really seen it work for me. I've never seen a corner come off of it. I think I picked it once. Okay, so I like to play quarters. It's pretty good. Most people that go spread are going to run formation. They're going to run routes that are like corner routes by 2, dig routes by 1. You know, individual routes, which to me are just comebacks, verticals, you know, just simple stuff. Maybe a shallow by 2 with a dig by the other 2 on the other side. And quarters does a nice job versus that. If I get spread set 3x1, I'm not a huge fan of the safety, the backside safety poaching in quarters versus 3x1. So I go a little bit more palms. I like to use that backside weak safety and try to help out where needed. So that's why I like palms. And as we get into some bunch formations and all this other stuff, well, bunch is going to check into, forget that. Bunch and stacks are all going to play the same. So it doesn't matter. So that's kind of how I look at it. I think the Las Vegas playbook, I don't want to have to be married to the Las Vegas playbook. You know, a lot of teams are running the 49ers style of defense. So the Niners runs that. So that would also be now the Texans, the Jets, all that. All those teams that are technically the 4-3 wide teams. So they are all 4-3 based. They're all going to have nickel over, which is nickel normal. That's the same defense. Yeah, but I do love the Vegas book because they have the nickel over G. I mean, I think nickel over. You can't big nickel over G, man. Don't sleep on it this year because now I heard you can press. You guys, you can press. You can back off the corners, and you can not. And the glitch is gone where the safeties flip. So you're in good shape. This game is actually pretty close.
Jet sweep to start the drive. And he'll be upended at the 28-yard line. Just a 3-yard gain there.
Yeah, the Niners. I'm a Niners fan, so Niners or anybody. Niners have had a lot of coordinators become head coaches. So the Jets, the Texans. There's a lot of over teams, wide teams now in the NFL. 4-3 wide teams. And I like the wide formation. If you guys haven't used that formation, that's another good formation versus people that like to run counter shotgun plays. Not necessarily trap, but the slow developing counter shotgun plays was a little bit of a meta, I felt like, last year or the year before. Actually, the year before. I feel like that's pretty good. I will say this, man. Nickel normal to me is not the best run front. Um, and if you look at my channel, I have. Do I have games going back that far available for you guys to look at? I think I do. I can always show you. But ever since I think Madden 18 or Madden 19, I've been running a lot of nickel normal, and I've always squeezed the line in nickel normal. And what it does is it gives you like it kind of is a little bit of cheat when it comes to the DTs because they're kind of lined up and they're lined up head up over the guards. Sometimes they're lined up inside leverage of the guards. They kind of almost cause like double team blocks to stay on them a little bit longer. Even though they might be inside leverage of the guard and they still have to be responsible for B gap, they actually do a good job of kind of like taking up double teams, which frees up your linebacker. And it kind of became popular. It became a little bit of a meta this past year. I was a little bit upset, but a lot of people were running. I'm growling. I haven't even eaten today. A lot of people were running the squeeze the D line, squeeze the D line, and squeeze the linebackers, and they were trying to get like influence, what I call hover blitzes and all this crap. But I'm not. When I do it, it's not really not doing it for that reason. It's just to kind of shore up the run defense a little bit. But there were some theories that if you squeeze the D line, you got better pass rush and all this crap. New cycle, new way of doing things, but you know, 4-3 wide. I've been doing this forever. If you line up like this, you're gonna get your butt ripped. So I would squeeze the line there. Now you lose a little bit of that wide 9 to the passing strength, but if you have a good player, he'll ball out. So, and this game is pretty much over. The computer's just gonna run the ball. So we're just gonna end this game and then kind of talk about what happened, and then maybe try to jump into another one with a different defense. If you guys have any defenses you want to see, I feel pretty good about quarters and palms. I feel pretty good that the rules, I have a decent handle on them. I think there are going to be some problem routes, but I feel like I understand how box is playing. I think I understand how stacks are playing. And obviously, I understand versus spread formations. That's easy. Obviously, that's day one stuff. So I think we're good. I think we're good to keep it going. I'm gonna keep on running it. I'll sacrifice for you guys. I will use quarters and palms in my leagues and see if it holds up versus people who play sim. And I'll even jump into online games and see what the meta is and what people are doing and see if it holds up for you guys. So. Once I kind of work on a couple other coverages here in the next day or two, we're going to work on cover 3 match. We're going to work on a little bit of man coverage, obviously. See what's going on with man. And then we can jump into some games. Actually play versus, play some people. I got to get my offense right. I totally forgot that I needed an offense too. I needed offense. Let me see if there's any questions. Then I'm going to take a quick break. You wanted to see 3 match. How's it looking? I want you to see 3 match. It's looking fire, you said. Why is it looking fire? What did they change? Did they change anything, or is it just looking like it's better than quarters? Yeah, this is still too high. Sorry, bro. I can jump into cover 3. The reason why I'm staying with the too high right now is because I think I scared some people earlier today, man, or yesterday. And it looked crazy. Like I had this shit on lock. I knew exactly how these coverages used to play, and then all of a sudden, it just went left, and they changed it. And I had a feeling from the beta that it was going to be different, but it took me a little bit of time to kind of get a feel for what's going on, and I'm still not there yet. So I wanted to go through and actually play some games with some good defenses. I had a split safety and show that it's not so bad. It could work. Yep. Cover 3 seam plays Meg versus Trips on the backside. That's true. It was like that last year. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was Meg on the backside. Or was it Mod? It might have been Mod. He might have played off versus vertical routes. Basically, three seam last year. If you watch my 3 seam videos, the backside versus everybody's problem is versus 3x1, right? Because you don't get the front side matches. You don't get the strong side matches. But the weak side always did match up. Still, they still play Meg. They still matched up. Even the linebacker, even your curl flat, your seam flat defender, he would match up if the running back was to run out of the backfield and run a wheel. So you had some of that stuff that, and I got this from Deuce Close. If you guys don't know who Deuce Close is, check out his channel. He's probably going to put some videos out there. He is excellent. And I learned it from him because he talked about this. But three seam used to have seam versus obviously 2x2 match rules versus 2x2, and then versus 3x1 they used to have some match rules too. So if you got four verticals, you would have it could be either the seam flat defender or the hook defender would actually carry two vertical. Okay, but they took that out the game years ago. But the backside of cover three seam versus 3x1 is still there. And if you've noticed, three buzz used to always be a strong side rotation, so the safety would come down to the passing strength. However, now they have it like how it is in real life. A lot of teams are running three buzz rotation weak, so the weak safety would come down. And if he's aligned to the weak side, there'll be times versus some crossing routes, if three goes across the field, that he would, at a 3x1, he will actually match that guy as well. So three buzz can give you a little bit of match principles to the weak side. And it was like that last year. And that's the reason why it was one of my... That's not the main reason why. It's just a good coverage in general. It kind of throws people off when the safety drops down. If you combine that with quarters, they're not sure if it's a quarter safety coming over to poach three. They don't know if it's a safety coming down to play one robber. Or they don't know if it's a safety coming down to play hook curl. So that's the reason why those three go together for me. You want to see quarters in the three buzz look? What do you mean, Survivor? You want to see quarters in the three buzz look? Yeah, it was mod last year. Yep, you're right. So it was mod. Which got me killed most of the times. Did you? I think if you could have pressed that guy. You know, there was a time when you guys may not have known this, but like Madden didn't even have match, right? This is like back in the day. Madden, what was it? Madden 25, which is what, Madden 13. The year was 2013, and I would create match, or I would try to create it by putting guys in man coverage. And I remember guys like NY Kia. He used to always be streaming. I used to watch his streams all the time. And yeah, you would have to like man up the backside corner and cover three if you wanted to get Meg. You know what I'm saying? And I still do that to this day versus a lot of nub sets. You know, so trips nub. I will man up the backside corner on the tight end in quarters and in palms just to get better coverage. You know, I would man up the so I would do stuff back in the day, like almost 10 years ago. I would man up the, you know, people used to talk about this all the time, cross manning, but it was more like I would just man up the safeties on number two because I knew number two was going to go vertical, right? Or I would try to put the safeties in like hook curls so that they can kind of simulate playing like a robber safety. So I used to do that stuff back in the day a lot, man. And you can do it now too. Like if you don't like that the guy was playing mod, you can actually just man up the backside corner, and then he becomes a Meg corner. You know, I talked about it last year at the end of last year when the corners were getting beat in cover four quarters. That I think I figured out that if you manned up the corners on number one, that you know they actually turned a little bit faster and tried to stay on top of those routes. And I did that a little bit at the end of last cycle because I wanted to play quarters, but they were just getting burnt by streak routes by number one. So I actually would just man up the corners on the backside. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Well, let me just take a quick break, and I'll be back in like 2 minutes. And then I'm trying to think, guys seem like they're good with quarters. Maybe I'll just end this stream. I'm gonna start a new stream maybe, and then I'll see. I'll come back in 2 minutes. I'll decide. If you guys want to jump into three seam to see how it looks. I still call it three seam, three match. See how it looks. I really don't want to get into the buzz too much today. I want to separate the two, so it's going to be a single high look all game, which is going to be interesting, especially on third and long. I like to go two high look shells on third and long, but we can just see how it plays out, and then eventually, once we progress, I'm a progression guy. We will start mixing it all together. So but no reason to do it too fast right now. I'm in no rush. All right, I'll be back in about 2 minutes. I'm just gonna pause the stream. If I see you guys on the other side, I'll see you on the other side, and we decide what to do. I'll be back. I'm probably going to end up just going into cover three seam, and I'll take this broadcast and just end it here, and I'll make a new one. So if you guys want to stick around and want to see some cover three seam for a couple hours, see how it plays, if you guys know it better than I do, I've coached cover three seam going back to when I was with the Jets, back with Rex Ryan. We used to have match. We used to match the three receiver side versus 3-by-1. We just basically took the seam flat defender and he played all of two if he went vertical or out. And that was pretty much it. I know some people do different things with the inside defenders, but the safety in the middle of the field pretty much had to take care of anything vertical. So let's talk about three seam in a different video. You guys hold your thoughts, and we guys can continue to talk on the other side if you want, if you guys don't mind. I like to separate the videos so they'd be different, alright? So, I don't know if you're probably going to hear me soon. I'm going to end this stream, and then I'm going to start a new one in about 2 seconds, alright? By the way, yeah, I like what you said. Who was it? Yeah, K Ghost. I like that idea. That's pretty much what I like to do as well. The shells will be based off of formation. So certain formations require certain shells, in my opinion. And then down and distance, if it's obviously like a rundown, if it's short yardage, you need to be in a more stout defensive front. So whatever that might be, bear, odd, whatever you think is good. I haven't even looked at the run front stuff this year, but I'm the same way. If it's third and long, I'm not. I really don't care what run front. I don't care. I can be whatever. I'm in my best pass rushing defensive front. So I'm the same way. All right, guys. I'm gonna end this. Hopefully the conversation doesn't get cut off. Don't get mad, but I gotta end